Greetings there, folks. Here we are already at the end of May, and another incredible batch of questions from folks over on our Patreon community. So I think we'll get to maybe 3 of them here in the video, and the rest I will post over on the chat thread. So first question comes from Rachel. Do you have special plant spirits you work with for the yearly celebrations? Definitely. So there's 2 ways that you can really approach this. The first is through folklore, right? Looking at the plants that have folkloric associations with various plants. I think about St. John's wort for the upcoming summer solstice. The folklore will always preserve some of the ancestral ways that particular plants have played a role in various celebrations and holidays, whether it's the seasonal neo-pagan 8 holidays, or even ones that are related to like Christian saints or local holidays in particular places. So that's one way to do it. The other one, and this is probably my more preferred version, is to look at the plants that are thriving at particular times of year where you live, right? So here where I live, it just so happens that Hypericum, the St. John's wort, does flower around the summer solstice, right? So for me, we have that peak of sunshine energy, that peak of warmth, that kind of pivotal summertime energy, while one of our most incredible light-moving, light-gathering, light-circulating allies, St. John's wort, Hypericum, blossoms, right? So that plant could certainly be brought into however you celebrate the season, and crafting an incense or doing a plant spirit journey around that, or working with that plant spirit to attune more directly to the seasons. Really nice way to think about it. So through the folklore, and then through just which plants are showing up at a particular time, who's already aligned to the season. So good question, thank you. Another one, when you don't have the time but need the help, what is the best way to connect with the plant spirits and seek their aid? Because I don't want to be disrespectful, but sometimes there is urgency. I really love this question, because I think that we've all experienced situations where we're in crisis mode, we're spinning the drain, we're melting down, we have a quick decision to make, maybe something, scary or traumatic happens, and we really want that go-to, but there's maybe not enough time or space or emotional or energetic ability, to sit down and do deeper work. So I think we've all felt this way. For me, this comes back to one of the most important long-term aspects of doing plant spirit work the way that I practice it, which is cultivating allies, having plant spirit familiars, having those particular plants that you are close with, right? You have a closer relationship. You've known them for a while. You've done work with them. You've journeyed with them several times. Maybe you steward them in your garden, or make medicine, or study them, or have had really profound personal experiences with them. Those are the plants that, because that connection is there, the reciprocity is already flowing, the ways between you are open, there's already a link between the 2 of you that's a little stronger. It's a little beefier than the links between the rest of us in the universe, right? So those are the plants that I would turn to. However you do that, you sometimes have to get a little creative, whether it's going out and speaking to the plant directly and asking for help, or maybe taking a drop dose of a tincture, or smoldering a little bit of the plant, or giving the plant to someone, or moving the plant through a space to change the energy of a space, or carrying the plant with you, or doing divination with the plant, right? The creative possibilities are literally infinite. But those are the plants that I would turn to. And because they're allies, right? The idea is that we've invested quite a bit into the relationship. We generally, as humans, don't feel like we've given very much, but that cord has been nourished, and it is strong, and it's there. And so I would turn to those plants, and I would just ask for what you need. If you can take a moment to meditate, or to take some tincture to connect with them internally, or go sit with them in nature and put your hands on them, and just connect and just ask. This is a hard thing in this work, is just asking for what you need sometimes, right? I'm terrible at it. I should be taking my own advice here, but really just stating what you need and what's on the boil, and you will find that those plants will always respond. And really all the plants will respond, but the ones that we're in really close relationship with are always the best ones to turn to when we need these kind of quick, responses. So excellent question. Thank you. Sarah was asking, I just wondered what your thoughts are on this quote from Sage Apopum. How feasible or possible the ideas in practical terms in today's world, and how it might seem, how this might seem playing out, that some traditional medicinal models paid their physicians to keep their clients healthy, and when they got sick were treated for free. So in this model, the physician is supported through maintaining the health of the community rather than relying on them becoming sick to make a living, right? It's a subtle difference, but it's massive. And the implications here are legion, because it implies that the profit can't be made on making people sick or keeping people sick, which is how, most of our medical systems are now. Like, the money comes from people being sick rather than from people being well. And most of the money that comes out of wellness is, it's hollow money. It's coming out of fads and things that people can't feasibly stick to, or don't have the long-term results that people want. So I think this is a really cool model. I think about some of the ancient herbal practitioners, the barefoot doctors in China, where they were treated well and cared for as they took care of the emperor and the royal family. But if somebody got sick, there could be punishment, right? They were sometimes fired, or worse, if they couldn't take care of somebody properly. So that's kind of an extreme example, but I like this idea of our reciprocity, however compensation looks in the work, coming from focusing on wellness rather than crisis management. Crisis management is always going to be part of herbalism, because we're humans and we fall down and break bones, right? But herbal medicine really shines, as does nutrition and exercise and mindset and sleep and working on stress. All of these things are at their best as preventatives, right? Of just not getting sick in the first place if it's preventable. So I do think that we could be putting more energy and effort into talking about herbal wellness, tonic longevity processes, being healthy and staying healthy, rather than 99% of our discussions in herbalism are about how to get out of a situation we're already in. And people, being frustrated or scared enough in their life to sometimes turn to herbalism as like a last-ditch resort, right? They're at the end of their rope. They've tried everything else. Nothing's working. So they come to herbalism hoping like, maybe this thing that I don't really believe in will help me. So it's a very interesting perspective. And I think, if we adopted that perspective, I've been thinking a lot about this question since Sarah posted it. If we changed our perspective and approached the work in, this angle of how do I nurture and nourish and protect the harmonious parts of myself, so that they don't fall out of place. There's also that proclivity for the body to want to align or entrain to wellness. So if we do focus on the best parts of ourselves, if we affirm the things that are going well in our lives and in our bodies, it does tend to make fixing things when they get, wonky easier. So I think that's a really interesting perspective too, of, rather than sitting down and saying, what are all the things that are falling apart in my life right now? That's an important discussion, but also say, and then what are like the best parts of me? What do I feel confident about? What in my body do I love and do I rely on and is always there for me? And finding a way to give a nod of nurturance to that as well. So fantastic questions this month. Thank you guys so much for this. I love doing these Q&As. You can post them. We do a question call on the 20th of every month. You put your questions down in the comments and they appear here in the video. So with that, Send you out with blessings of peace and plenty. I'll see you in the Q&A next month. Take care.